Have you ever wondered why some of the smartest, most thoughtful people you know are often the quietest in a group? Maybe you've even wondered that about yourself. Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. And I think you'll find the answer is way more interesting and empowering than you might think. You know that feeling, right? You're in a meeting, you're out with friends, and suddenly you realize, wow, I haven't said a thing for the last 10 minutes. It's not that you don't have thoughts, your mind is buzzing, but the right moment to jump in just never seems to arrive. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, then you're in the right place. So here's the core idea that changes everything. That quietness, it's almost never about shyness. Science actually suggests that the brain is performing this incredibly high-level process, a kind of active observation that's so intense most people can't really handle it. So what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. Okay, so first things first, we have to completely reframe this. Being quiet isn't some kind of social failure. It's actually a sign of something powerful happening upstairs, a process called cognitive restraint. And this comparison just lays it all out. On one side, you have the myth, what people assume. They see a fear of speaking, but the reality? It's cognitive reflection. It's your brain taking a second to question its own first instincts. What looks like social anxiety is actually your mind prioritizing deep verbal reasoning. And what gets mistaken for a lack of confidence is often the complete opposite, a superior awareness of the emotional landscape of the room. So, okay, if it's not shyness, then what in the world is your brain doing in those quiet moments? Well, it's essentially shifting into what we can call observe mode. And this mode is powered by that very intense process we mentioned, active observation. Active observation isn't just passively listening. Oh no, it's a full-on analysis. It's like being a detective. Your brain isn't just hearing the words someone is saying, it's scanning the entire communication landscape, the tone, the body language, the subtext, before it even begins to formulate a response. And this whole thing typically happens in 3 steps. First, you process the literal words being said. Pretty straightforward. But then step 2, you're analyzing the tone, the emotion, what's happening underneath the words. And finally, your brain runs a logic check on the whole argument. It's a really deep, multi-layered process, and well, that takes a second. And here's another huge piece of the puzzle, something called cognitive complexity. This is the natural tendency for your brain to see any given topic not as a simple statement, but as this intricate web of different angles, possible outcomes, and all these hidden layers of meaning. Yeah, they even call this hyperconnectivity. It basically means your mind just refuses to accept a simple surface-level answer. It's always digging for the full picture. And the frustrating part, right? By the time you've done that deep dive and are finally ready to share your brilliant, well-thought-out point, the conversation has already moved on to something else entirely. All of this deep internal processing, it has a huge impact on our social lives. It especially explains why certain conversations, like small talk, can feel so incredibly draining. It's not that your brain is quiet, it's that it's selective. And this really shows the difference. On one side, you've got what's called social noise. Chatter about the weather, what you had for lunch. For a brain that's wired for depth, that feels like static, a total waste of mental energy. On the right is what your brain actually craves. New ideas, complex problems, meaningful discussion. It's a real intellectual hunger. This quote just hits the nail on the head. The reason you might prefer being alone isn't because you're antisocial. It's often because the conversations happening inside your own head are genuinely more fascinating and stimulating than the social noise happening around you. Okay, so we've dug into the why, but now for the best part. Let's completely flip the script on this. Because being this way isn't a weakness that needs to be fixed, it's actually a collection of incredible cognitive strengths. Let's talk about the true power of your silence. Think about it. This whole process of deep observation translates into some amazing abilities. You make fewer impulsive mistakes. You have greater emotional control. You don't need constant social approval because your validation comes from within. You value being authentic way more than just putting on a performance. And you approach things with intellectual humility. You want to truly understand, not just be right. And if you remember only one thing from this, please let it be this. Your silence isn't a void. It's not a lack of ideas. It is the sound of a very, very powerful engine running in the background. It's not emptiness, it's fullness. So the next time you feel a little self-conscious about being the quiet one in the room, I want you to remember this. You are not socially awkward. You are not strange. You are simply wired for depth in a world that so often settles for the surface. And that's really the final thought I want to leave with you. This isn't just information, it's an invitation. Now that you understand the powerful, complex machinery working behind your quiet nature, how are you going to see it? How will you choose to embrace